Welcome to another session of the HubSpot Admins HUG. This is our housekeeping. If you haven't gotten a chance to see this, this is your great one-stop resource for all of the things that you need as an admin. Our upcoming sessions are here. You are able to RSVP for all of the ones that are coming up. We've got a ton of inbound rebound sessions that are coming up. We only have 2 that aren't booked out for the end of the year, so make sure you're getting those on your calendar. You will be able to talk about all of the new things that are happening, all of the changes that are happening. We'll make some updates to some of the titles now that we can release what's going on. If you miss a recording or you miss a live session, you are able to go over to YouTube. You can catch it. We've got 155 videos over there, so plenty of time and plenty of things to keep you up to date on all of the things that are amazing and going with HubSpot. If you are looking for your people and you're not able to make it to the HUG, or you weren't able to make it to the in-person meetup in Inbound, we have a section over on LinkedIn for the HubSpot Admin HUG. Great connections, a lot of people, a lot of resources shared over there. So make sure you are checking that out. We also have a section over on HubSpot Community where resources and links and all of those things are shared there. Make sure you're signing in. If you've got ideas, make sure to upvote those and connect with other HubSpot admins. The show and tell is coming up. I have a couple already locked in. If you haven't gotten your submission in, we want to hear about it. Even if it's something small that you think, oh, wow, nobody cares about what this is. No, we care. All of the amazing tips and tricks that you have and all of the things that you've learned over the years being a HubSpot admin, we want to hear from you. So make sure you are submitting that form. The boot camps are open. The HubSpot Admin Bootcamp is on a wait list, but you can check out all of the other amazing boot camps. There's an AI for marketing, sales, and service, CR customization. Make sure you're getting these on the wait list for these, because they do open them sometimes and they are opening additional spots. So you'll want to get those on there as soon as you can. If you're having any issue with Bevy, she does kind of give us some trouble sometimes, especially when we get larger groups. We've got almost 800 people registered for this. So as people are coming in, you may see things slow down a little bit, or if you're not hearing something, say something in the chat and we will help you out. If you've got an idea for a HUG, definitely let us know. We do have the rest of this year booked out just for those 2 sessions. We're trying to lock down the speakers for those, but we are looking for 2026. So get your idea submitted as soon as possible. Otherwise, you know what I'm going to say. You get to hear what I want to hear. And make sure you're connecting with me and with Kyle. We are always looking for the next idea or the next session that we want to do for the HubSpot Admin HUG. And I just want to shout out to everyone that did join us at the Inbound meetup during Inbound last week. We had so many people. I think we only got 50-ish pictured, but there was definitely way more than 50 people that joined us. Ignore my ugly picture there. I was making kind of a funny face. I am so excited to welcome our team here from Breeze, and I'm going to let them take it away.
All right, nice to meet everyone. We are from the Agents product team. You have several of our team members here, and we're all going to take some turns, either presenting what you might have missed out on or going over, if you were there in person, Breeze Agents and Breeze Custom Assistants. And then some of us will be assisting with the Q&A live in the chat as well. So if you have questions along the way, please feel free to drop it. All right, so without further ado, so Agents and Assistants made a huge splash this year at Inbound. Don't worry, we're going to walk you through it. I'm going to start by giving a quick demo as a refresher, and then we love audience participation and especially hearing from admins like y'all. Really, really helpful for our building out a roadmap. So we're going to do a little bit of a interactive Q&A kind of thing as well. We're using Slido. But all right, let's go into our demo. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right window. It's this one. All right. Okay, so you should be seeing our Breeze Marketplace right now. So this is the go-to place, right? right here in the Breeze Sparkle button, as we call it internally, to go to our marketplace and start shopping around for your assistants and your agents. So my colleague Lucy will talk about assistants, and I'm just going to cover agents in this first half of the meeting. But essentially, this is where you can browse through some of these agents if you want to see all of them all at once. I don't know why it's doing that. Give me a second. Let's see, that might be, there we go. So you can see we have all sorts of agents across the sales, marketing, service, ops space, something for everyone really. If you want to filter and see just the agents, you can. And if you want to see just the 4 assistants, you can as well. But let's deep dive into one of these agents. I really like the customer handoff agent. So if you imagine, right, that you have an AE on your team handing off an account to a CSM, they have to schedule meetings. The AE has to give all this context about the different sales calls and like the deal considerations, who the stakeholders are. So if you imagine that this agent kind of does all that work for them behind the scenes and saves both organizations time, it's really quite a win-win for both. So you'll select your agent, and then this would say add if you hadn't added it to your portal. Obviously, it's on mine already, so it says open. So that's marketplace, that's your shopping experience. Then your home, once you've added those to your marketplace, is Breeze Studio. And so this is where you go to your studio and then see all the agents that you've added to your portal and all your assistants. So continuing the narrative along with the customer handoff agent, just want to show you what it looks like to run this agent and how to configure it. So it's really as simple as handing over and putting the next owner role in here. It could be CSM, it could be between a BDR and an AE, and then just providing the company name and then just run that agent. So behind the scenes, you'll see it's thinking, it's doing all of these process, like running through the process of how to think through its next steps. It has context about your business, and I've actually even told it as a sneak peek to create the output into a Notion document and create an Asana task for myself. So I won't make you watch this whole workflow while this is going on behind the scenes. Let's actually look into how that configuration works. So you go into configure here. And then you can see you don't have to be a prompt expert. We have basically baked this prompt in for you out of the box. So if you install this agent, you get this. This has been tested extensively by our team. We've had engineers working on it, etc. So basically, this is an account handoff agent. It creates this detailed handoff brief. So the steps that it takes, if you look at the method, is retrieving information about this company and its associated deals, tickets, activities, contacts. And as an additional 20% of the report, going out and fetching external information about the account so that the CSM could be aware of any news headlines or external updates that they should also be aware of. And then it creates this beautiful handoff report at the end as well, which I will show you. And then you can see here that we have this concept of agent tools. This is what agents can access. So here we've pre-selected web browsing, your CRM records. I've also asked it to create a note on the CRM record with this agent, to connect to my Asana, to create a task for me, and then to connect to Notion to put that brief into a Notion doc that I can share internally with my stakeholders. So how you would do that is with this tools panel. You can search for the tool that you want here. We also have handy recommendations if you're not quite sure how to navigate that panel. And then we have MCP servers. We've got 4 or 5 out of the box right now. Zapier is a really popular one because it can auto-create like a Google Doc for you or send an email using your Gmail. And of course, the ones I'll be demoing are here as well. Okay, knowledge. Knowledge is the context and awareness that the agent, or like the brain of the agent as it is processing your request. So here it has information about my brand, my ICP, my products and services. And then you can create and add those, any unlimited number of knowledge vaults at the moment with a file upload. It could be a PDF, it could be a doc, and then different CRM objects as well. So if you want it to have context about your knowledge base articles, for example, you could select that here. All right. And then my other favorite part of an agent, some of them have been set up with workflow triggers so that you can automate them. So for this particular one, I want customer handoff to happen without me even thinking about it, without my AEs having to worry about it. So looks like this got outdated to set it up, but that your closed won property has to equal true. So whenever closed won property value changes, then this agent will trigger and then it will run. All right, so that's my configuration. Let's see it in practice. So, oops, I'm gonna show that one. So we have our account overview. We've got major touch points. We have direct quotes, which I love as a CSM. I don't have to dig through call transcripts to find them. Key decisions and deals, different opportunities and risks, things I need to watch out for. Things that the AE has promised that I should definitely know, a 30-day post-installation check, for example, some industry highlights I should watch out for, and then who prepared this note. So super amazing, saves a ton of time, as I had mentioned. It successfully handled my Notion request as well with this document that I could share outside of my CRM, and then created tasks for me in Asana. So super powerful use case. I'm sure there's Q&A that my colleagues are answering in the chat, so thank you for that. I'm going to shift over to more of an interactive activity, if that's all right with you all, and then present this screen. Excuse me while this loads. Okay, so if you join slido.com and then enter this participant ID, we'll love to have a conversation with you all. As you see this question on your screen, have you built or used an AI agent, whether HubSpot or not? I'll know this is working if I can see votes coming in. Okay, maybe not so successful yet. Let me see if I can paste in a direct link. Oh no, that's not good.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
just about to say that.
Okay, all right. Let me see if I can figure out the settings real quick. But I will. Maybe we can answer this one in the chat while I try to figure out the settings. Yeah, curious who's built one before. Yes, on agent.ai, on BotPress. Great, we're getting some good responses there. Okay. Let me see how I can. Sorry about that, folks. Oh, okay. It said require authentication. Let me turn that off. Okay. Can folks try the link again? Let me see if I can copy that. Hopefully people aren't seeing the single sign-on.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. Okay. Let's see.
There we go. It just worked.
Yay! Thanks. Thank you for your patience, all. Yeah, while testing it, I was like, oh, I must just be asking for me since I'm the speaker. But okay, cool. Great. Okay, let me go back to sharing my screen. Oh, the code here. If I share my screen, you will see the code again.
I got it.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go back into present mode. All right, looks like most of you haven't, and this is making me log in again. Okay. All right. So this is a great intro for the agents. I think that's awesome. So just for those of you who built or use an agent outside of HubSpot, just curious where. I think some of you have dropped it into the chat, but would love to have it here. Agent AI, awesome. Love that we're getting some love. Okay, customer agent, that's great. Got some external chat GPT. I think you'll be excited about the assistants when Lucy shows those. Great. Okay. All right, so I'm going to move on. We're going to see these responses if you keep adding them. So thank you for submitting your external agent locations. Has anyone built a successful agent on Breeze Studio? This would probably mean that you had been to Inbound, that you had seen how to access it. Anyone built an agent or configured one? Okay, not yet. And that's totally fine. Okay, it's a great place to start. All right. Ooh, yes, we have a yes. Actually, really curious. Anyone who's successfully deployed one, volunteers to unmute yourself, talk about it. Not this new fancy one. Cool. Maybe Chris. Can we take Chris off mute and have him talk about his experience? Oh.
Welcome, Chris.
I think I'm mute, or your mic might not be set up.
We can hear you. Oh, that was Davis. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries.
Gotta hit the allow button.
Okay. Agent 007. Oh no.
Chris, it's not working.
Maybe we can come back to Chris. Do you have any others that had success on Studio? Seems like Chris has quite a reputation. Okay, all right. Well, let's move on to the next one.
Okay, I think I got it working.
Oh, sweet.
Apparently I need to unmute my mic at the system level, but anyway, so the video clip generator agent will do a daily update show, and I've been able to successfully trigger that at the same time every day to create clips, multiple clips that allow me to, move right into the clip editor and start managing. I'll say that the clips themselves, the start and stops are great. Still working on like the context and making sure it finds the right video. And the video team has been super helpful in that. But yeah, it's been awesome to say the least.
Oh, that's great. So you're using the video clip agent for marketing, like generating clips for marketing campaigns?
For sharing knowledge. Yeah.
Oh, great. Oh, that's awesome. That's a great use case.
Like LinkedIn posts and stuff like that. So a lot more coming because of that agent. So excited for that.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Yes, you're being called a HubSpot influencer in the chat. All right, so it seems like most of the audience hasn't built one yet, which is no problem. And so what would your ideal AI agent do? Think about a teammate that's like working behind the scenes, someone that you've hired to do an annoying, very like process-oriented task. I'm seeing some of these come through. Track what key fields are not achieving 100% film rate. Call out where the issue is coming from. We got prospecting, follow-ups and scoring leads, replacing sales reps. To spy on competitors, that's interesting. We'd love to hear more about what that means. Be the frontline for service sales, etc. Organize and sort my emails. Create tasks for me. That's awesome. I feel like that's definitely within the realm of possibility. Campaign analysis, follow up and track service team. smacking our sales reps for not filling everything out. I don't think we have that. But we can probably grab meeting transcripts and create tasks in your tool. That's great. All right, so let me see. I am quickly approaching time. So this has been so great to collect some of these ideas. I was going to ask just a quick question here. To replace me working, right? This is going to be the last one, and I'm gonna wrap up. But how would you measure your agent's performance? So some of the, aside from smacking your reps and other hilarious ideas like that, how would you measure your agent's performance? What would you like me to see on the dashboard? Would be curious, like if you had something that we had showing time saved, KPI, did it answer the question successfully? Okay, these are great. A sales dashboard with more zeros. We'll try to deliver on that one as well. ROI for justifying credits. That is a great one. Initial consults booked. Okay, so it seems like very outcome driven. Like, is this agent actually giving me the outcome that I asked it to obtain? Hours saved. That's a great one. Okay, great, awesome. All right, so I'm going to cede my time over to Lucy. She is going to share about assistance.
Cool. Okay, so for those of you who were at Inbound, this first part is going to be a little bit of a, sorry, let me figure out how to share my window. I just did this before. You guys were all on when I did this, and now, of course. Hold on.
It's
Okay,
different when you're doing it live versus when you're
right? Isn't it? It's killing me.
Mm-hmm.
I am so sorry. Okay, we're going entire screen, so this is going to be really fun. How's that looking?
Looks great.
Okay, great. Okay, so for those of you who have seen this before, I apologize, but I do think since many folks are admins here, assistants are going to be one of your best friends. It is a great way to disseminate knowledge across your organization. And I don't know if many of you experience this, but I know even in my role, I get this a lot where people ping me with the same question all the time. It's a million different people, but it's always the same questions. And I've written documentation and I've done all the things that I need to do in order to, give people the answers, but still I get the questions. People just want to ask a question and get an answer. And so we built assistants for this enablement use case, really to enable your team to get the answers they need, whether that is sales reps who are onboarding, understanding your sales processes, whether you're launching a new project or a new customization and people have questions, you can create a custom assistant that they can talk to. And the beauty of these custom assistants is that they, your users can speak to them wherever they are inside of HubSpot using the Breeze Assistant side panel. They open the side panel and then they just navigate to whichever assistant that they want to talk to. And these are quite easy to build. We tried to make it so that you could build them in under 5 minutes. So you could start from scratch. For the purpose of this demo, I'm going to start from one in the marketplace. And so we have 4 here in the marketplace. The internal FAQ assistant is really like a blank canvas, but it has a prompt for you to start with, which makes it a nice one to practice with, get started, use. So I'm going to go ahead and configure this. And what you'll notice about the internal FAQ assistant is that all it really is a prompt that tells it who it is, what it does, how to answer questions, what types of questions it can answer. And then you're able to give it access to knowledge, whether that's the full web or you can add certain knowledge directly from your portal. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. And then the last thing is that you can manage access. So let's say for this use case, I am an admin at an office furniture supply company, and I have all of these customizations on HubSpot. I have internal processes that I've, written up. And for us, in this case, I've done it in a HubSpot knowledge base that's internal facing. Now, this could be anywhere. It could be in PDFs. It could be, you could have this information elsewhere, and I'll show you how to bring that in. But for this case, here is the knowledge base. space that my team has to answer their questions. And I want them to just be able to ask questions about it. So let's change it to a new name. Let's call it Ask HQ. Let's update the welcome message to be more custom. I'm here to answer any questions you have based on the specific knowledge that's been provided me. Whatever, let's make it more specific. Based on our sales processes at offices are us. And then I can read through the assistant instructions and change anything I want to. So you are a friendly and conversational AI assistant that helps users answer questions about their uploaded docs. All is looking good so far. Your role is to serve as an FAQ assistant. Great. Found in the uploaded files. I'm going to be more specific, and I'm actually going to name those files. So let's add the files now. I'm going to come here to add knowledge. And what I can do is I can create a knowledge vault. And Christine showed these too. The nice thing about your knowledge vaults is that they work across any agent and assistant that you want to have that context. And so for this one, I'm going to create a new one. I'll call it sales processes. I'll enter a description. The description's important because the agent reads that description to know, or the assistant reads the description to know when to use this information. So in this case, it's going to be information about our custom sales processes and how to use HubSpot. And I could add any files. So the file types that are available to add: TXT, MD, HTML, PDF, DocX, or PowerPoint. So if you have your information stored in an external source, you can just download it all to PowerPoints and upload it here. If you have your information in the CRM itself, the nice thing about that is that it will stay evergreen. It'll stay updated. So I can add knowledge articles, and I'm going to add all 3 of these. And what this means is that if I change a knowledge base article, it'll automatically pick up those changes. It might take 10 minutes, but after 10 minutes, it'll pick up those changes in this assistant. So I'm going to add those articles, create an ad. And now, as simple as that, I have a knowledge vault that this custom assistant has access to. And so let's come back up here. Always prioritize the information found in the sales processes knowledge vault. Okay. When a user asks a question, search only the provided tools for an answer. This is a good hack, just a great way to make sure that the assistant stays on topic as much as possible and doesn't make anything up. And then here it says if you cannot find the answer in tools, you may search the web. I'm not going to add web search because I want to control how this behaves. I only wanted to answer based on what I've written. So I'm going to delete that. Everything else looks good for me. So I am ready to test it. And so let's come over here and let's take a look at some of these, the information it has. So for example, in this negotiation section, we can see that regional sales directors need to approve discounts. Let's give it a test. It's a little bit harder than just asking that question directly. Let's say something like, can I give a 20% discount? Cool. So yes, it says you cannot give a 20% discount on your own, but it also tells me that it just has to be approved by the regional sales director. Finance needs to know. And the coolest part is that then it has these source citations that link directly to the source, whether it's the PDF, the knowledge base article, the CRM record, whatever it is, to build trust for you and your employees. And so you can continue to test this. Once you're feeling ready, you're like, okay, I've got this. I want to share this with my team. You're going to come down here and you're going to go to manage access. And so this is set, only I can edit and everyone can run. Maybe I don't want everyone to run it. I just want to assign it to certain teams. So I'm going to assign it to the sales team and go ahead and publish that. Come back to manage assistants and I can access it 2 ways. I can either go right up here through the assistant and I can click on Ask HQ, or I can open it directly from here, ask my questions, get responses, and it's just a really flexible tool for you to build whatever you want, and you can create your own from scratch with your own custom instructions, your own welcome message, knowledge, and whatever. I'm going to go through a few questions because we want to hear from you now. Let me stop sharing. Okay, so now we want to hear from you about what you're looking for in custom assistants. And then at the very end, Davis is going to share more about our roadmap and what's next. So Christine, I think I'm going to turn it back to you for those questions. But yeah, so for what use cases could you see an assistant being used within your company organization? The reason we're asking this is because we want to understand, based on your use cases, what are the things that we need to build next? You know, what are the tools that we want to add to assistants? What capabilities does it need? So, like, please share any wild idea you have. Cool. To develop a content strategy is really interesting. Does anyone want to come on and talk a little bit more about their use case? Yeah, okay, I'm going to approve the person who just requested presenter mode. Okay, so Elena, I think you're on now.
Perfect. Hi, can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name's Elena. I work largely with our support team, and they currently use a platform called Zingtree that's very prescriptive. It kind of has an extension that pops out in their browser. And as people ask certain questions, it's almost like HubSpot playbooks, but more on a support side where they say, they said this, we're going down this path. And it has like hundreds of nodes. It's like very complex, I would say. And so the thought of them being able to kind of work more organically with a tool is really intriguing to me, and kind of being prompted by the AI instead of having to follow a very prescriptive node path might give them a little bit more flexibility and also keep things more in-house with HubSpot. So that's kind of really exciting. Do you see people moving away from platforms like Zingtree in favor of using an AI assistant to help support teams?
I don't know as much about Zingtree, but from what you're describing, it sounds a little bit like our version of playbooks or the new process guides, where it kind of walks sales reps through what to do step by step.
Probably, yeah. This would be more for support, though.
Got it. I think that this, you could play around with this and really try to make something that does meet that use case. And like, once again, if you're like, oh, I wish it had this one thing and then I could use it, don't hesitate to reach out. Our emails are all first initial, last name at HubSpot. And like, would love to hear from you what tools you would need, what you would need it to be able to do in order to do that. Because that seems like right in the type of use case we want to support.
Cool. Thank you.
I do see a question I want to answer live, which is like, are we charged credits for assistants? The plan right now is for assistants to not charge credits. They're going to be priced similar to Breeze Assistant. There might at some point be a cap or a limit on how much you can use Breeze Assistant or custom assistants, but that would be pretty high. So no, there's no current plan to charge credits for these.
May I move to the next question, Lucy?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Do you want to talk through this one?
Yeah, I'm happy to. Sure. Okay, so what tools or knowledge would your assistant need? This is like thinking about, so I showed you the knowledge and the knowledge base. You can do files, you can do some certain CRM objects. What are the either like CRM objects or external tool, like sources of data or tools, things that you actually want the assistant to be able to do? What is it that you want your assistant to do or have knowledge of? Okay. while we're looking at this, I want to address, we're going to talk about the pricing stuff for agents. Just give us a little bit of time. And at the very, like I promise, we'll get to it and we will address the pricing stuff live. Okay. Can I access a shared folder in HubSpot files or just individual documents uploaded? Okay, that's a good question. Google Workspace. I'm seeing a lot of Confluence in Google Workspace. Cool. Yeah. So one of, like, just so you know, some of the sources that we're thinking about next that are really important for custom assistants, Google Workspace is one of the most important. The big like challenge there is figuring out how you share just a certain file or a folder of files versus your entire Google Drive. And so once we figure out that technical challenge, we'll be able to add that. But that is one of our high priority ones. I'm seeing another question. Can the assistant read and translate files in languages other than English? Yes. Yeah, the assistant does pretty well in other languages. In terms of the translating, we haven't actually tested that. Like if you upload a file in Spanish and then you're asking questions in English, it would be worth doing some testing there, but I imagine yes. Cool. Great. Great. I think we can go on to the next questions unless anyone has something that they want to come off mute to share. Move on. Let's do it. Okay. So next thing is, I don't know if many of you have seen this. I mean, Christine demoed part of it, but like there's a lot of ways currently for you to manage and track your agents. We don't have the same capabilities for assistants just yet. So I'm curious from you all, like, what are the things as admins that you need to know and be able to monitor and track in order to measure assistant performance, feel good about deploying them, all of those things? Okay. I am seeing a lot of like accuracy of response. And I think that the question there is like, okay, great. But like, how do you measure that? If anyone has more ideas on how they would measure the quality of the answers or the accuracy of the response, I would love for you to come off mute and share a little more. Great. Well, this is really helpful. We do have that feedback right now, but we just don't have a way yet for y'all to see it. So we can prioritize making sure that there is some way for you to see the feedback people are giving, some summaries of the search trends, things like that. Let's move on to the next question. Maybe, yeah. So I'm curious if anyone has already had a chance to set up a custom assistant that they want to share about, or just describe what you've done. You know, we're collecting use cases so that we can, I actually would love to dive in a little bit yet on the like, no, I got scared. If anyone is brave enough to share that feeling and like come off mute, I think like, I would love to understand some of the blocker there and like how we can make this feel easier, how we can make it feel better to get started. Feel free to message privately too. I totally get it. We'll see some people are typing, so let's give some folks some time to finish up. Yeah, so working on improving the brand voice assistant. That's a really great one to start with. It already has the brand voice that you've put in HubSpot, but you can add so many other files that, you know, if you have a style guide or anything else about that. Is it all tying to OpenAI? So the assistants do, like, at their base rely on OpenAI. They're built on top of the Responses API. But we have a 0 data retention agreement with OpenAI, so they don't keep any of your data. It's just like a flow through. Okay. So PII, we PII masking for Breeze Assistant, custom assistants, agents. So PII gets masked before it even leaves our system. And then there's the 0 data retention policy. If you're curious about learning more about trust, safety, all of that, go to behindhubspotai.com. This is a really great place to learn more about all the different things that we do for security concerns. Cool. Okay.
All right. I think those are all the questions for custom assistants, but I did want to double down on like why people are scared aside from the security stuff. So I did throw in an additional question, if that's cool. Sorry, let me pull that up. So it'd actually be really helpful to know, is it primarily security and concern about PII, or is it overwhelm? Is it like there's too much to navigate? You're not quite sure where to start. Like, it would just be helpful to dig into that. Okay. So some concern about the wrong answers, making sure those are accurate, overwhelm, okay. So some barriers related to pricing, lack of control and oversight. The environmental impact, that's a good one. Okay, helpful to see the more nuanced explanations of why folks are scared to start. Around the pricing, as Lucy had mentioned, there will be no credits for assistance, so definitely recommend jumping in and exploring that. The Breeze agents that I showed, where prospecting, customer agent, data agent are priced today. The others are in public beta and are not monetized at the moment while in beta. So again, this is a great time to jump in and explore and test around while they're in public beta, and you won't be charged any credits for them. And if you are at all concerned on the marketplace listing, there is like a pricing card on it as well, so you can quickly check if that's going to cost you credits or not. And we'll be very transparent in the UX within the product. So, you know, there won't be any hidden gotchas. Any agents that are in public beta, not monetized today, but once they go into general availability, and they are, we will give you as a 30-day heads up. You will have a banner in the UI telling you all that as well. So don't worry about that. Okay. Great. I think I have a good understanding of these holdbacks. And then last question before we jump into official Q&A. After this session, are you more likely to set up an agent, assistant, or both? That's awesome. Oh, Haley, would you like to come off mute and talk about that?
Can you try to request that again?
It looks like I got it. She just needs to come off mute.
Oh, that was accidental. No worries. Okay, great. Thank you all for responding to that question. We're going to turn it over to Davis to handle live Q&A. So take it away, Davis.
Thank you. Thank you. Just finishing. This is the most active Q&A thread I've ever been a part of. And yeah, to that end, we have 318 participants. So if you have any questions that aren't getting answered after, just please email us. We don't bite. We're really excited to work with you all, because I think a lot of what I'll be discussing now are some things that we are actually kind of like right around the corner on in terms of our roadmap. So I guess first, Christine, did you want me to go over the reporting beta and where we are there?
Yeah, that's great. That and roadmap, and then maybe you can switch to anything that wasn't answered in the chat.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome.
Alrighty, let's take a look. I think I got this up. Cool. So we snuck this one in for inbound. I would say there's three things I want to talk about that I'm really excited. The first one is this reporting. If you're like me and you're on LinkedIn too much, you see a lot of phrases like, it won't be AI that takes your job. It'll be somebody that learns AI. But if you can't actually see how you and your team are using AI to actually assist you in your work, it's really kind of hard to measure and see where you're improving. So that's what this first version of the Breeze dashboard is. So just kind of giving like a quick overview, and then I'll chat about where we're going. At the very top, you can see how your portal is using Breeze. So you can see Breeze features in use. And the way I kind of break that down, and if you saw this in Nicholas's talk at Inbound, I think he did a good job of talking about agents and assistants, and then what we affectionately call sparkle buttons. So anything inside of HubSpot that is a sparkle button that is not an agent or assistant gets counted here. We can see how many agents have been created. And then this is an interesting metric that we've been putting together, which is hours saved by agent use. And just to be transparent about how we got there, we actually did some quantitative research to look at how much time was being saved for you and your team per agent run. Some agents can save you a minute, others are saving a lot more time. And then we actually did some deep research to take those outputs. We interviewed real humans to go through their estimated time. So again, this is a directional estimate in terms of how much time is being saved per agent run. And then of course, assistants created. And from here, where you can kind of see our first out of the box reporting, you have, again, how many agents are being run. You can actually see who is running the agents in this portal. So it looks like Christine is really using this customer handoff agent. And then you can also see the assistants that are being used, which ones, brand assistant, ICP assistant, some of those other ones in agent marketplace. We have a roadmap to continue fleshing this out. We want to continue to add more insight in terms of like how much time is being saved. What are some of the outputs that these agents are running for you? And then again, putting this on the reporting platform. So all of the bells and whistles that you may be used to with the dashboard, for just a generic HubSpot dashboard would show up here too. I cannot see the chat. Christine, Lucy, any questions on this one before I get into custom agents and assistants?
There's a question of how did you get to this screen? Where is the screen?
Yeah, that probably should have started there. So when you go to Breeze, go to Overview. And if you're ungated here, you'll see this dashboard. Cool. So the other things that we're really excited about, I think it was loud and clear from the four of us that were in Inbound last week that people want custom agents. So Lucy and I were just in a call this morning with our leadership, and like that we kind of knew we needed to head that way, and we are definitely headed there in the future. So in fact, one of the things I want to go ahead and just offer, and we'll have a sign up form at the end of this if it isn't already in the chat, but we would love to talk with you about your use cases. And so when we say custom agent, what we basically mean is like building from scratch. So, if you kind of go into a lot of these agents that we offer today, you'll notice that like there is definitely like a tasteful, tailored opinion in terms of how they can be built, what they can do, where you want it to go. We want to actually like enable you to choose how you want this agent to run from end to end. So giving you the ability to add connection to your CRM data, being able to add different default context and knowledge that you want this thing to have, everything from files to eventually adding connectors like Google Drive, and then being able to actually like configure the prompt itself. And so when we say prompt, just kind of, you'll notice that like there's these agent instructions in all of these agents. We want to give you the ability to do that too. Anything else, Lucy or Christine, on this you feel like worth highlighting?
If we wanted to add more tools and knowledge, like we would love to hear from you. Yeah, integrations, where you would want to fetch data from, where you want the agent to work and put its final output, the more we hear from you, the better we can build this.
Yeah. And in fact, I think one thing I'm really excited about is, and I would love a little participation in the chat. Show of hands if you are excited about the new segments product. Oh, it looks like we have a people who want to present. I guess I can hand that over. Zach or Kelly? Okay, well, we'll get that figured out. That's the next source that we're actually adding. So today, when you're adding a knowledge vault, we have all of these kind of standard CRM objects. We have HubSpot hosted content. But one of the things we heard at Inbound was, hey, I want to be able to actually just like set a list or a segment of users so that the records can come and go and it can dynamically update to reflect my business. So that's something that's underway today, actually. So I'm really excited about that one. And then the last one we wanted to get into was continuing to kind of flesh out the custom assistance beta. So I'm really excited about where we're going there. And again, Lucy kind of mentioned this earlier, but essentially being able to add a lot of these tools that we've been talking about that you can have in agents and kind of bringing those connections to you so that your team can really just like continue to work in a secured environment inside of your HubSpot instance.
While you're doing that, I've seen like 2 more questions about the difference between agents and assistants. And I think we actually didn't do this live, just in the chat. So wanted to take a quick second and pause and just like kind of try to summarize the difference there.
Yeah, totally.
There's 2 big differences. One is how users interact with them. Your assistants, it's only by prompting it. You talk to it, it talks back. Your agents, you can manually run them just by hitting a trigger button, or you can set them up with automation. So they run on a schedule or they run when a certain thing happens. So there's the trigger. Assistants are also much faster. They get back to you quickly, but they don't do as like deep of an analysis as agents do. So agents can often take 5 to 10 minutes to run, but they're giving you a much like more thought out product. And agents also have access to tools, whereas right now assistants do not. So agents do things for you, whereas assistants answer questions. And then the way we think about it a little bit is more like use case based. So your assistants are there to answer questions for your team. Your agents are there to do work on behalf of your team.
Right. That's where a lot of the automation that can come with agents is really important. Being able to actually say like, hey, do we want this thing to be triggered by an event? A lot of that kind of like taking the work off your plate. Whereas, yeah, I love the way you phrase that, Lucy. Like if you're familiar with ChatGPT or Gemini, like this should be hopefully be a easy transition into assistance. Awesome. Let's open it up to Q&A.
Looks like we have some questions on the pay-as-you-go versus auto upgrade. Could you talk into that a little bit?
Can you repeat that?
I'm super admin and I can't change to pay-as-you-go versus auto upgrade for the credits.
I think we'll get back on that one. Lucy, okay. Christine, do you know that? I don't know what's going on there.
I think the best case is talk to your CSM.
Yeah.
They'll be able to help you with that. Should we talk about pricing now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So we are going to be as transparent as possible. So as soon as we have more information on exactly how many credits each agent is going to cost per run, you'll see that kind of appear on the agent listing. You'll get some other communication around that. And there's going to be some time between when you learn that and when that actually goes into effect. So you then have the choice on whether or not you can continue using that agent or you want to stop. We can't give you an exact range of how much it's going to cost per run, but we are aware that like there's some price sensitivity here, and trying to balance that with the needs of the business. Christine, Davis, is there anything you want to add?
I think that makes sense. And transparently too, like with custom agents, what I would say is we're not going to be charging for that for a while. We want to work with you all. And again, a lot of this like truly is like wanting to get some of these use cases. I saw a great one from Jose, which is like, we have a workflow step that will ask a question to an assistant and use the answer to pursue its actions. That sounds like an awesome custom agent template to talk through. We'll make sure that this is providing value to you before we start charging these custom agent and custom assistant like use cases, which again, custom assistants not charging, just to clarify.
D'Ana, there was a question on the Q&A that I wasn't sure about. Someone asked if we could share some of these Slido poll results. Is there a way to get back to the participants at all after the call?
Sure. This will be posted up on YouTube, and if you have, something that's downloadable, you can link it there. We can also link it on the event page itself. So, and I can share that out when I do the recording. So if you want to share that with me, it was also captured in the recording. So if there's, something that when they wanted a detail on, they can look at that as well. We have about 6 more minutes. Was there any questions that you answered in the Q&A that got a bunch of upvotes that you'd like to reiterate, or do we want to just take one more question that's in the Q&A? I know you guys got through quite a bit of the ones in the chat.
Trying to, and they just keep coming. This is awesome.
A good group.
Yeah. So I like this one from Monica. So just to be clear, both agents and assistants are fed on background information through Knowledge Vault. Yes, and I will share my screen too, just to show some mechanics in terms of how this works. All right, I hope this is the right one. Okay, whew. All right. So there's 2 ways in which we pull in context for you today. So one is like being able to manually define like, hey, these are the files I want to have. These are the CRM records I want it to be able to reference. Adding the segments tool or active list, if you're familiar with that, coming soon. Additionally, though, if you like, one of the ways in which we make assistants feel personalized and also reduce chances of hallucinations, etc., is inside of your AI data sources. This is where you can actually like add brand kits. You can add your company profile and make sure like we have your domain hooked up. You can define who your ideal customer profile is. Make sure that like it understands who you are, right? And so all of this stuff is automatically able to be retrieved for assistants and agents, just to give a more personalized experience. So those are the 2 ways we get there, and we're continuing to add new sources every month. And if you have questions, for example, Lucy answered earlier with custom objects, like that's one we know people are asking for, and you have any a perspective on what sources are more important to you, let us know. Allie, where do we start? If I were you, I would head over to the our big, beautiful sparkle button. Again, I'm all about a sparkle. And come over here. If you go to overview, we have a ton of tailored information, videos to help you get started. This is where you can learn more about like assistants versus agents. If we need to iterate that, this is where you can actually go through the marketplace and see what's available to you. So just find the sparkle button, head to overview, and that's where I would start. Okay, another one. And I know we got like 4 minutes. Can I create an assistant that is snarky in response while my brand is more casual professional? Totally. Yes, you can tailor these things to however you need them to be tailored. I think that's a really important thing to take away is our roadmap right now is, we've started with these like templates to help everybody get started, and you can take them to a really extreme degree of personalization. And then what's next, though, is just like opening up the floodgates of customization next.
I think some other, like, if you want to get started, things you could do. You can try to create a custom assistant for yourself to use, something that's going to make you faster. Maybe you upload a bunch of your sample emails into a Knowledge Vault and you have it write emails like you. Some other fun agents to try just to get a feel for, the call recap agent. I'm sure many of you at the end of your calls, you need to like log a note or send a follow-up email. And that's what it's supposed to do. And you can really customize the feel of that email, the feel of the note, what it does in that summary. And that's a great way to play around with customization. Same with the handoff agent that Christine demoed. If you have, anytime you're trying to summarize a record for somebody else's purpose, like you have a sales rep trying to summarize for a CSM, or you want to summarize it for someone else in your organization, the handoff agent is a really great one to use. The deal loss agent is one that's nice because it needs a little less customization. You just give it a time frame and it'll look at any closed loss deals you have in that time frame and do a deep analysis for you on the trends there, give you some strategic recommendations. So those are a few different places that I would start if you're totally lost.
That's great advice. Bill's got one last question, and then I think we'll wrap it up. How many can we create, shared with everyone or individual teams? That seems like something an admin would ask.
Lucy, I think you probably know this one. For custom assistants, do we have a limit?
Right now, there is no limit. That might change at some point.
If any group is going to make you change that, it will be this one.
Exactly. And then just one last shout out too before we go. Christine just put it in at 11:57 Eastern time, but we would love to get everybody involved from this group into our private beta, custom agents, reporting, custom assistant enhancements, adding tools, adding knowledge sources. So please participate.
Love it. Well, thank you, Davis, Lucy, Becca, and Julia. I appreciate you guys sharing all of that information with us. The recording will be up on YouTube very shortly, and I will make sure to share all of the questions, the Q&A with the team so they have all of this. They can dive in, and they did share their contact information. So there it is again. Lucy put it back in the chat. Definitely reach out to them, share your feedback. I will share your feedback for the HUG as well. I appreciate everyone for joining us, and I will catch you next Tuesday. Bye, everybody.
Welcome to the Admin Hug. No flash, just facts and a whole lot of love. Get it done. Accidental or all in by choice. Admin and flies and lift their voice. Fixing fields and hacking time. Making magic with no headline. Drops gold, D'Ana brings fire in a crew that's here to lift you higher. We swap the wins and share the pain. No one's solo in this game. It's the Admin Hug, where legends log in. From chaos to clarity, that's how we win. Dirty data challenge accepted. Portal perfection fully connected. Quick fix queens, work around kings. Custom coded everything. Tabs open, coffee strong. You've been solving all along. We've got the know-how, we've got the map. Even HubSpot protocols up to chat. You're not just her, you help shape the tools. Admins rewriting all the rules. Thanks for building with the HUG. Thanks for powering the HUG. Behind every campaign, push and nudge.